Wednesday, April 14th, and our I Can for today says, I can solve elapsed time problems. So we're going to start with 3 basic T-charts. That's going to help us. So I'm going to start with 3 T's. 1, 2, 3. Now our first T-chart is going to be talking about minutes to seconds. If I have 1 minute, if I said, all right, let's see if we can jog in place for 1 minute, how many seconds would we have to do that for? That's right, 60 seconds. So what if we were going to jog in place for 2 minutes? Well, I think in my head, 60 plus 60 is 120 minutes. What if we were going to jog in place for 3 minutes? That's 60 plus 60 plus 60, that's 180. I could also do this by multiplying, right? What if my number was bigger? What if I wanted to jog in place for 7 minutes? Instead of adding 60 plus 60 plus 60, I could just multiply by 60 and I would come up with 420 seconds. What if I was looking for 10 minutes? I said, okay, we're going to go work on our math problems for 10 minutes. How many seconds would that be? Well, I'm going to multiply by 60. That would be 600 seconds. So the rule, minutes to seconds, is you take your minutes and you multiply by 60. M times 60. Minutes times 60 will give you your seconds. That may be helpful for you today. Let's talk about hours and minutes. This one's pretty similar. I think you're going to like this one. If I said, normally we have math for 1 hour. Well, 1 hour equals how many minutes? 60 minutes. And if you picture our clock going all the way around the clock, that's 1 hour. That's 60 minutes. That's why there's 60 little ticks on our clock. So what about 2 hours? That would be 120. What about 4 hours? Well, I'm going to think 4 times 60. That gives me 240. What about 5 hours? 5 times 60, that equals, I know 5 times 6 is 30, but another 0 on the end to make it 10 times bigger, 300. And then lastly, let's say 8 hours. We want to know how many minutes we're away from our house for kids that go to school. 8 hours, they multiply by 60, and we end up with 480 minutes spent away from home. So the rule for changing hours into minutes is to take your hours and multiply by 60. Looks kind of similar, doesn't it? Well, let's try one that's a little bit different. This one's going to be days and hours. One, two, three, 4, 5. Excuse me. How many hours are there in one day? I'm sure that some of you know this. One day has 24 hours. Very good. So one day has 24 hours. So in 2 days, there are 48 hours. In 3 days, we have 72 hours. In 4 days, I have 96 hours. Really, all I'm doing is I keep adding 24 and adding 24 and adding 24. But we also could multiply by 24. 2 times 24, 3 times 24, 4 times 24, 5 times 24. It's 120 hours. So the rule for changing days into hours, the rule is take your days and multiply by 24, and that will give you the number of hours. All right. One little note that we want to make, because this is a popular question, the average number of days in a month is 30. I know they don't all have 30. 30 just means that's the average. That's what most of them have. It's an easy number to round. So we're going to say the average number of days in a month is 30. So if I said, oh, Izzy went on a trip for 2 months, how many days would he be gone for? Well, 2 months. I say 2 times 30, he'd be gone for about 60 days. It's just a close average, okay? It's not exact. If he went in February and he went in June, it would be different. If he went in July, it would be different. It just depends, okay? But the average, we say about 30. Okay, let's try another type of problem. Let's see what we could do if we were trying to add some of our times together. So let's say, for example, 23 minutes plus 37 minutes. And I want to know how many hours that equals. Let's think for a second. How many minutes are in 1 hour? 60. Let's add 23 plus 37. We always stack them to add them. We can't add them in our heads. We'll make a mistake. 3, 4, 5, 6. 60 minutes. And 60 minutes equals 1 hour. Let's try a bigger one. What if I had 1 hour, 11 minutes, and I wanted to add 49 minutes to it? 1 hour and 11 extra minutes, and I want to add 49 minutes to it. Well, I can't add hours plus minutes, but I could add minutes with minutes. Sometimes it helps me if I use a color to know what I'm adding. This one's minutes. This one's minutes. So I can add these together. On this one, these were both minutes, so I could add them together, and it gave me minutes. And then I changed it into hours. This one over here is in hours, so I cannot add hours plus my minutes. I'd have to change it if I wanted to. Let me stack up my minutes and add them together. 11 minutes plus 49 minutes. 0, carry the 1, 4, 5, 6. 60 minutes. Well, I can make a trade with that, can't I? I can trade that out and call that 1 more hour. So now when I look at this, I've got 1 hour plus 1 more hour. So this equals a total of 2 hours. All right, those are our first two. I'm going to go to the next page. 2 more like this, and then one that's a little bit different. All right, number 3. We're looking at 1 hour minus 12 minutes. I want to know how many I have left. So I have 1 hour and I have 12 minutes. Can I add hours and minutes? No. And actually, we know a too fast fourth grader might just try to switch these around and do 12 minus 1 and say the answer is 11. So don't be a too fast fourth grader. Let's look and see. Hours and minutes. I want to take 12 minutes away, but I can't do it from 1 hour. Let's rename this. 1 hour is the same as 60 minutes. Can I do 60 minutes minus 12 minutes? Yeah, I sure can. 60 minutes minus 12 minutes. Let's stack them so we don't make a careless mistake. 0 minus 2. I can't do it. Neighbor, neighbor, can I borrow one? Sure. And I bring back 10. Now I have 10 minus 2. That gives me 8. 5 minus 1 gives me 4. I have 48 minutes left. Not so bad, right? All right, let's try one last one like this, and we're going to change it. Number 4. Number 4 says, what if I had 2 hours, 45 minutes, and I want to add 6 hours and 25 minutes? What will this equal? Well, I've got my minutes, and I have some hours. I can't add hours plus minutes, but I can add hours plus hours, and I can add minutes plus minutes. So I'm going to stack this a little bit differently. I'm going to bring it down below. I've got 6 hours, 25 minutes. Let's add them this way. I'm going to add vertically. Let's start with my minutes. 5 plus 5 is 10. 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 70 minutes. 2 hours plus 6 hours, that equals 8 hours. This gives me 8 hours and 70 minutes. Now, can I make a trade with 70 minutes? We don't usually say we're going somewhere for 70 minutes. We would say it differently. I know that 60 minutes equals an hour, so it's kind of like a number bond. I'm going to take out 60 minutes. It's going to leave me with 10 more minutes. This 60 minutes I'm going to rename to 1 hour, just like a number bond. And I move this 1 over here with the 8 hours. 8 hours plus 1 more hour, that gives me 9 hours and 10 minutes. And that is my best answer right there. Pretty good, right? It takes a little bit of time, but we know how to make number bonds already. So if we can take out an hour, we will, and that will help us see how much we have left. Let's try one with subtracting. This is our last one. This is the one that's a little bit different. Number 5. Let's try 5 hours and 7 minutes minus 2 hours and 13 minutes. And let's see what we get. So again, the first thing I'm looking at is I need to look and I see hours and hours, and I see minutes with minutes. You have to be real careful not to mix them together. So let's stack them and subtract them. Minus 2 hours and 13 minutes. I'm hoping that you already noticed something. If I have 7 minutes, can I take 13 minutes away from them? No. So I need to go over here and borrow 1 hour. Neighbor, can I borrow an hour? Sure. Now instead of having 5 hours, they have 4 hours left. When I bring back 1 hour, think about it, 1 hour. How many minutes is 1 hour? It's 60 minutes. So really I have 67 minutes over here now. And now I can subtract. 7 minus 3 is 4. 6 minus 1 is 5. That leaves me 54 minutes. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 hours and 54 minutes would be my answer. So the part you have to be careful on is when you borrow an hour comes back as minutes. It's 60 minutes. Okay, so really what I had was 60 minutes plus the 7 that I had, and that's how I got 67. Okay, I hope that helps. That's what we're going to practice today. Take your time and do your best. Have a good day.